and a lot of the frustrations we see out there. Everybody starts the beginning of the year with some great expectation for the year, and then here we are almost at the end of the year, and you're sitting there probably wondering why things have not happened for me, why I have not shifted, why I'm not doing deals. And we tend to look at the outside and blame circumstances, the economy, everybody else, right? And we're not here to say that it's not your fault, by the way. It's not your fault that things aren't working. Maybe you have not approached it the right way. Maybe you were not intentional in what you were doing. Maybe there are some things there that are not working. It could be a small tweak that's going to make all the difference. Liz, what do you want to say about that?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just that there's so much noise out there on what works, what doesn't work, the type of community, people aren't able to break through. Even if they're trying, it's incredibly frustrating because they're still not breaking through. And I think is because there's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of aggravation. There's a lot of people saying do it this way, doing it that way. And they just don't feel like they're genuinely getting the support. I know a lot of students who come to me who have come from other programs say the biggest thing is they felt like they were still alone. That it wasn't like breaking down the nitty gritties to actually doing deals. And they felt like it was the blind leading the blind because it was a lot of other people in the community coaching them. And so I think that's one of the things. And then it's the overwhelm. I was talking about this. I recorded a podcast today. The overwhelm for a lot of you of your day-to-day life and where you're struggling and how do I fit this in when I'm already feeling crazy, when I already feel like a lot's going on, but I really want this and I really want the outcome of it. You're frustrated because you can't find deals, you can't figure out the next steps, you feel like you need money or capital or whatever, but you also are like, but I really want this time. I really want the freedom that everyone talks about when it comes to real estate. I want the money. I want to be there for my kids. I want to retire my spouse or whatever the reasons are. These are what I tend to see coming off really often.
Yeah, no, and I totally agree. And furthermore, I want to say this: like Alice said, there is a lot of noise out there. There is a lot of YouTube. There is a podcast. There are people that say, "I have the answer. I can coach on this." There is AI, ChatGPT, and everybody is looking for steps and answers this way. But the thing is this, it's just the steps is not where it's really going to fail for you. It's more about when something happens, who you're going to trust to ask, what should I do in this situation? How can I salvage this deal? I was telling somebody this morning, and she's like, a deal says, well, we had all the contracts signed and the seller decided not to move forward. And I said to her, go back with this. And she's like, oh my God, that's brilliant. And so now she's dealing with that, and I feel like she's going to get the seller to move forward. But the thing is this, it's just that's the thing that you need. Because you go on ChatGPT or you go to YouTube and everybody gives you steps, everybody seems to have the answer, but then when you go out there and you start doing it, it's not that simple. And I'm here to say that 20, 30 years ago, real estate was much easier, okay? There was not all of this big noise out there. And there was a smaller community and things were moving slower because the technology and everything else was slower. And so you had the time. Now you have to keep ahead of yourself. So that's one of the things we do also. Besides us as coaches, we also bring students in the community to really help and teach forward what's working for them, because everybody has their own zone of genius too. And so that is what also it's about. It's not just us.
Yeah. And I think that's the most important part, and why Real Estate Investing Women is where it is, because we believe the community is just as important as the task of doing real estate. And a lot of my students say it's because of the community that they kept going or they kept moving forward. And so what we're doing is this weekend, we have a retreat coming up. It's called the Make It Happen in Real Estate Investing Retreat. But what's really cool is I'm actually bringing my students. I'm not bringing in people that I don't personally know. So instead, I'm bringing in my students. I'm bringing in all my coaches. But my students are actually going to tell you what they did and how they became successful. And we have 6 students speaking this weekend alone, 6 that are going to take about a few minutes apiece and actually teach the rest of the groups how they made the program, how they made real estate their own. I have students talking on how she's actually making more money in midterm rentals than short-term and long-term. I have another student talking on novations. I have another student talking on, what's the other one?
Well,
How to do a full-fledged, they're putting out 10 contracts a week, I think it is, minimum of 6 on 4 hours a day, 4 days a week. And we have a few other students coming
we
in
have
too.
another one. She's done those 2 deals where she bought her house for cash.
Off of 2 deals alone.
Just by doing 2 wholesale deals, and she's going to tell you exactly how she found those deals and what she did. So it's not just us teaching you, it's actually students that were sitting exactly where you are just a couple months ago and now doing amazing things. So it's going to be really, that is information you can't find anywhere. The real talk, walk the talk.
And it's going to be for
walk.
It's going to be for one day this Saturday, the 13th, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. It's virtual. Now, a lot of people ask why we didn't do in person, because we always do in person. And a lot of people were really wanting to come in person. The reason we did that was because we wanted everyone to be there this year. Every year in the past, people couldn't make it for dates, whatever. And even some of my students who couldn't make it can attend because it's on virtually, so they'll just step out when they need. So we're going to put a link here. It's an early bird price. It's the last time that we're going to be able to offer it at this price. But we're going to put a link here so that you guys can sign up and you can come and see us this weekend and spend the day with not myself and just Laura, but also our students, our successful students, as well as our other coaches on the team.
And look at it this way as a kickoff for the rest of the year, for the rest of your life. So you say, okay, September, I haven't been able to break through. Well, this weekend is going to make a difference, because included in this weekend, we're going to give you the 30-day system where it's going to go from 0 to deals in 30 days. This is the only time we're going to do this included. Anything else is actually going to be a self-alone program moving forward. But this is a brand new launch, and that's going to be included if you sign up today. So that's part of the early bird. We're going to take it off here just before the event this weekend. So this is the last chance for you to get this from 0 to 2 deals in 30 days. So I just want to make that clear.
All right, well, I'll make sure we put the link here into the comments so that you could see it, and we'll see you this weekend.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Okay, let's